Hello, my name is Ethan, and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile Sentinel League 3.18. In this episode, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. So first, let's start with this. This is Path of Exile Boda. He's actually playing my build, or doing his best version of my build. He's changing it around and stuff. He's doing stuff. Anyways, he's having a good time. At first, stuff was dying. He did the no Indom army version. I've never done this, but he did it. Missing that 23 LE res on the minions. So pretty much I was helping him out in the chat. His chat was relaying my messages. We were communicating. It was great. I didn't understand anything that was happening because it's just all Russian, but I want to help. So basically some sort of collab video without being collab, like, because he's just doing his thing and I'm doing my thing. He has a video of him making all the gear. He got really lucky on the gear, and then this is his version, and so I want to build review his POB to fix it, because there's a lot of stuff. He did take in Dom Army after, okay, now I'm gonna, like, step by step, one thing after another. Enjoy the video. Okay, step one, very simple. What I would have done here is he needed minion defense. That was his first thing. So I would have done. We have Bertle, so he has 93 million, by the way. Before I do anything, okay, I just want to, because we have to obviously make sure that the changes I make actually were an improvement, not a deterrent. So first thing, let's explain minion defense. So let's take off Commander of Darkness, because the radius of this you and nearby allies have minion LE res, 30 LE res is actually only 80, and the minions teleport at 125, so it can't be trusted. You can test all this in game if you want, but basically, without the Indom army and without the Commander of Darkness, they have 60 LE res, because you have the 20% through the Grave Intentions wheel, at least 10%, 10%, 20. You could get other forms of minion LE res, obviously, but this is what was set up for the build and what I'm trying to help. There's a bunch of stuff. I have to go one at a time. First step. So minion doing in Dom army with the minion LE res, caps them to 75, and then to get the extra, you want the 8% max LE res. There you go, 83. And that's without Commander of Darkness. The Commander of Darkness is useful still to help for, like, LE weakness and stuff sometimes, but basically, this is what we've set up. And then the next thing is, so that would help minion defenses. And then the second thing I noticed is you could take the minion leech. He didn't have it. He thought that the 0.4% leech is enough. And then you can also take the Vitality Anomalous. Look at the damage. 93 million goes to 91. And this isn't that big of a damage loss because it's on full life and his minions are dying. So they were not on full life. So then the next thing is, oh yeah, he has enhance on the Dread Banner. I have that off for a second. Let me turn that back on. So he actually had more damage because he has the Impale chance. It's really powerful. But I have another way to show you that without needing that and saving the mana. But you could still use that, actually, and it's really good. So then, this is the minion survivability. I figured getting him the minion LE res and getting his minions the leech, changing that vitality, since it was doing nothing because they were not on full life. Now you could get like 1% leech from this, which is way better. And then there was one more thing well, technically he had missed the AoE of the auras, and then, like, the AoE of the auras is really important. Like, for example, he's running Determination, the Divergent, the more expensive one, and now it only has an AoE radius of 81. If he ran the normal Determination, which I told you, that's basically Commander of Darkness. If he ran this Determination with Area of Effect, then he could, with the ashes, it goes to 103, and it's a lot better. And he could even have the extra AoE from this one point, which I'm just going to put now because you definitely want it in the build, and that gave 5 more, and then it would give a lot on this because he had no extra AoE, so it's worth even more. It gave 8 extra AoE on 80. It was 10% more for a single point. The 30 AoE, like, if you had to try to get this for you, AoE 10%, 10%, you have this 5, 20, like, the fact that you could get 30 in a single point, you have to take it. Now I will start saving you points, because you're like, how am I taking all this? You're telling me to take so much stuff. my first recommendation is I put a new large cluster jewel in the build. This is Renewal, Rotting Claws, Vicious Bite, 8 passive. This is what I recommend. So you would switch the large cluster. Both of them. You'd rather have voices, but we're going to do this budget. And then, because he did the enhance to get the impale, he has too much impale, so he could actually do a budget form of the, or like saving points on this. He doesn't need that. He still has 100%. What about this? Should he spend 2 points for the 9% impale? Sure, dude. I'm gonna do it. So he's 78 million. We have to get back to like 100. But okay, he has a bunch of points now. So we have 7 extra points. The first thing I noticed was let's go with spending some points into masteries. I highly recommend Overwhelm Physical Damage Reduction. This is useful against bosses or anything that you can modify to get physical damage reduction. Endurance charges are physical damage reduction 15% per. There's the 40% monster physical damage reduction note, the thing, and then if you do Height of Hubris, you could increase the invitations to be even more. There's also armor counts as physical damage reduction, so this is really helpful. Then like it helps you do true damage. We have crit strike chance. This, well, your minions normally in the POB have 5% base crit. He's at 11.5. This is because of this mod for brittle ground. Because when you brittle an enemy, they have 5% brittle and they get 5% base crit and it goes there. And then there's also Assassin's Mark. So you take this Assassin's Mark off for a second and you can see their base crit of a minion, 5%. So then the increased, well, every 100% is basically a times multiplier. It's just, yeah. So we get up to 8 times with the 600% increase through power charges, 200% per power charge, and then you have the extra 100% from the tree. So the 100% is like 5% crit. But if you had more base crit through the extra brittle, so when you brittle an enemy, more crit! And when you like double crit because your base crit was 5, you got another 5. Holy shit, this is 1.5. It's a third of your crit. But when you had the brittle and this, it's not that much, but it helps you get to 100% crit chance. And if you don't have this 100% crit increased crit strike chance node, you're missing. Because, well, each 100% increase would be worth 11.5%, and at minimum 5% crit. So this is very good. You definitely want this. And then we could take the increased effective offerings, which is his flesh offering, which is huge. And then he should have divergent flesh offering. Yep, for the attack speeds thing. And then it has like 30, 50. Yeah, there we go. And then increased. So then you go, holy shit, you have 4 more points. So then what I would do with those 4 extra points is this jewel socket is really efficient. You could get a whole extra jewel socket with my build. And then you have extra minion defense. You have 2 more renewals, so they have 2% regen. And then you also have the extra 1% leech, and you have the minion Ellie res, so they actually can survive. And you have the Indom army where they don't bleed. And then you also got where they do true damage to bosses, and then they or helps for when they're really, really tanky. And you got the 100% crit for more crits, which actually makes that more consistent. And then the offering, so you'll actually get them moving faster too, not just damage. This does say it deals less, but there's actually more. Wait for it. All right, now the next step. So we actually figured out, well, this version he's running a jewel from my old stuff, which is Forbidden Flesh, Forbidden Flame, to run Elemancer to get an extra golem. And I'll show you something we figured out. It's kind of crazy. So let me show you this. This jewel is actually cheaper too. So you can grab this one, and this is a Plague Bringer, and it's actually nice. So you could switch this jewel and the other one, and then instead of an extra golem, I don't know what happened to my tree. Why it says we're wasting points, extra points, but. Oh, this came back. I don't know how that happened. Okay. Plague Bringer. So then you have to put a nearby corpse, and then you gain 10% more damage, and then you actually cut the stone golem because it doesn't give you that much. Okay, just bear with me here. And then Vitality, and now the Plague Bringer, more damage, more AoE. Okay, and then you have 4 carry on still, and then you actually don't need triple harmony. Okay, you don't need triple harmony either. So then you actually have 1,000,000,000 jewels. And then you ask yourself, well, what would I run in those jewels? Holy shit, this is crazy. And well, 2 basic ones that come to mind first is very, very good usually. Fortress, Covenant. Do that. And we could get a Quickening Covenant. Boom. 88, and then you still have 2 jewels, and then that actually is better minion survivability too, because it gives them all minion block and minion suppression, where the other thing was only pure like Ellie immunity for the golems, and you were a hybrid build. So this is actually better, mixing it up. And then I actually want to show there's a swap here too with this jewel. But yeah, Plaguebringer is like huge quality of life because it's actually damage reduction too, and more damage, and the AoE actually ends up being more damage, and you have more jewels open again, and so you could run small clusters and stuff too to get mana reservation. And then I'll show you this next step. So we're still at 88. We're still rocking the 88. And then I just have to do it. Kill this node. It's not good. It's a 5-point for a jewel socket, and then its attributes that we were getting a shit ton of already, and we probably don't need more. So let's cut this. And then let me just change the pathing to the new pathing. Bear with me for a second. This might seem insane. We're gonna do new pathing. This is new tech. I don't know another way to do it other than just showing you, and then you'll be like, oh, yo, that's insane. Yeah. So there's this, and then there's also taking out this technically too. But currently, what is his anoint? Oh, champion of the cause, and then he has this through that. So there's 2 jewels. Impossible escapes I recommend that he could be using over this, and then this is the pathing. So the idea is you have to get back your golem commander, and then that's it, and you actually have a fat amount of points, and you could see the damage and everything, and then the mana, it's the same, and then this is just with the tree, and so it just works. So I'm gonna D&D in game. That's really annoying. Okay, sorry about that. And then you see how he only spent 4 points for this jewel socket, and then you're actually close to here, so you could even path to this with an intuitive leap for yourself, and you don't have to do that. And we actually got the AoE on the auras as well, and we have all the minion offensive masteries, and then we have all the minion defense, way better, as you could see. And then I can actually fit in probably now like another Dread March, which honestly, he has one of these. It's the Dread March Feasting. I would have done Dread March Dread March Renewal a second time. Probably just go for the extra regen. Since you have the 1% leech mastery, and then the only way that you would take this out is if you use the this Impossible Escape for minion instability or Doomsday. I believe I want to do for him the Doomsday, so we're gonna get that. Let me show you this one. Give me a second. This will be really fun. Doomsday. Okay, I'll copy this into the game, and I'll show you what this can do. So let's say you unanointed this, you lost the reservation, and now you could put in a new Impossible Escape. You have a warning on mana, of course. This Impossible Escape allows you to anoint the Curse Effect, the Golem Commander, and the Ravenous Horde. So you still have 4. You can see your damage is now 90 because you can do minions have Onslaught, and then that extra move speed feels really nice. There's also minion instability where you could take this and this, but then you can't take the mastery, so you'd have to give up the leech, which is worse. Like, this is better for your minions. You have the extra rotting claws for no reason right now. Sorry about that. So saved 10 points. We still have 9 points left over, and then we could go path to this, and you could just grab a quick intuitive leap. So the only issue you're going to come into is that trying to get these jewels with stun avoidance is going to be the annoying thing. But then here you go, 122, 92, 53, so everything works out. You still have an open jewel socket. Your minion survivability is through the roof because you got all that regen that you didn't have. They're at 62k. I also technically think about putting in another medium. Then you also have 2 jewel sockets still. So actually this is a part where, yeah, that's just fucking insane that you have 2 jewel sockets open right now. That's insane. So this is where technically running, there's inspired learning running here, and then you just spend 5 points on this, and you have an inspired learning for mapping. I wouldn't run this normally, but I also wouldn't run Purity of Lightning anymore. I run Purity of Fire to help for the Detonate Dead, but then you can't use the max lightning that he does on the helmet and the max lightning through the tree, and obviously this just makes so much sense, but fire is more scary. How does this keep coming back, dude? I just saved 2 points again. That's really annoying that it keeps coming back, and actually this reservation isn't that good. So let me just show you what I would do. It would probably be a jewel, and we'll show this one because it's actually, I think, cheaper. So you can get a destructive aspect, small, and then this small. How does this keep coming back? What's wrong with this? Okay, this small is Pride Reservation and increased effect of the smalls by 35, and then int and attributes, and then the area of effect of the aura skills is really nice. And then look at the reservation. He has too much. He has too much mana, and he could actually run whatever he wants. And then you could run all of this technically for the inspired learning, but what I wanted to show is he needs this because his zombies and carrion golems in PoB only have 3,000 accuracy, and he said, this is fine. But, well, yeah, we made it to this part, and now I have to show you the accuracy problem. I know. Step 3. Okay. Level 100 monster. How does the enemy have 13,000 evasion? What? Dude, they could get up to 25k. Some of the bosses have a different amount. Like, for example, Searing Exarch has more than the other bosses. And so you're not accurate. But what's really funny, actually, is even though he's not accurate, then you multi-strike slam zombies. As long as the zombies live, you're accurate. But then his zombies were dying because the minion LE res. So, to cap accuracy, you use either the Tree Grave Pact. You could also get jewels with increased minion accuracy rating. You could also take this shit for minion accuracy rating. There's also the flat mastery, offense mastery for 250. It's really bad. 250. Don't take this. It's good in the beginning, but bad later. And then they come with 3,000. So increased accuracy is pretty good. There's also, instead of Dread Banner, you could run War Banner. Now, I'm not saying this is that good, because look, but the accuracy, and then you could look here. Ooh, 5,000. Pretty cool. But then Dread Banner's too sick, and we know. And then to get the accuracy, the easy way is he's already running precision. So all I did is take this to 20. And then look at the mana. He still has enough, but also he's running Divergent, and it's not very much damage. Where Reservation, that could be a lot of mana gained back on this, since he's also using the Awakened Enhance, which increases the quality. The damage, you could get the extra damage, but you could also get the Reservation. And then you gain all that mana back, and then what you could do with that mana instead, and you have those extra points, and you still have an open jewel socket. You could, like, you were taking the discipline point. Now you could save that at least. You could take this back and have the 122. That's fine. To have more ES again. You did give up a lot of ES regen without the stone golem. And you gave up some artificial damage that wasn't, I don't believe it was as real. Because now you have bigger auras. The range of the dread banner. You will have the minion survivability. You could even take more dread marches when you get a voices and shit. And then you actually have 100% impale now through using rotting claws, and you have more minion survivability. And then I could show where the build was at and where it's at now. Let's do that. And I only changed the tree and the jewels. Yeah. Oh, and then the open jewel, what would we put? I could actually put one of those fun ones. Blind is a thing too to help lower. I could show you this. That one's fun. Okay, so there's technically a taunt blind jewel, right? You could get a ghastly jewel with taunt blind. Minions have 8% chance to taunt on hit with attacks. It's 6 to 8%, so you would look for 6 to get T1. Minions have 5 to 6% chance to blind on hit with attacks. This is 5 to get T1, and then ES I did. So to blind, right? Let me show you. How did it put it back again? Okay, anyways, in POB, when you're looking at the enemy. So also now their accuracy is up to 5,000. You still have 1 billion mana, so you actually don't even need the reduced mana cost of skills anymore. You could run whatever you want. You actually have a lot of mana regen too. So then the next thing is enemy blinded is -20 accuracy and -20 evasion. So that really evasive enemy with 13,000 evasion or 25,000, you could blind them, and then they actually have less accuracy. That's 10,756. So blind is offensive, not just defensive. And then blind synergizes really well with Dreadbanner because you the nearby enemies have less accuracy rating, and then when you have, well, this build, he was technically, I also don't recommend Val Haste or Haste in your build as the normal skill, but you can, like, it's not that much more damage for the cost, and the cost, if you're wondering, is Grace. And then you may have seen it when I enabled the effective hit, because you're now super evasive against attacks, and it really helps. Yeah, I'd highly recommend it if attacks are killing you, but if you're doing stuff against spells, then yes, Val Haste, fine, that's fine. But technically Val Grace for the evasion I would highly recommend. Since you're running the global defenses, you get the double. It's worth more, in my opinion, that 26,000 evasion. And he was actually running the weird determination where he gets more armor for evasion, and he didn't have the evasion, so then he wasn't gaining any more armor, so he should have had the default the whole time, and now he's actually gaining more armor. Okay, so there's that, and then, like, it's really big. I think it's huge. And technically, I normally run the default, so I get the AoE because I want the determination to be mostly on the minions. But, and especially since he doesn't have the extra Dread Marchers, it's 111, and without it, with the Divergent, he had 90. So yeah, 90 is not big enough because they teleported 125. And then the other thing is, like, we're just making the build work more. Now I want to compare to what it was. Alright, so I was going to compare, and he already changed it from my recommendations in his stream, and well, whatever, here we go. Let's compare to what he's actually running, and why what is happening to him is happening. So it does have big DPS, 108 million apparently in POB. One thing that I wanted to point out is he's running, like, I already said this, but he should get the AoE on his determination and not this Divergent, because it actually doesn't do anything. He also, because he changed the version, he ran Val Haste instead of Grace, like my recommendation, and so instead he's getting no evasion, so then this doesn't do anything, so he should just have the AoE. There's another thing he took out in Dom Army. And then I want to show, okay, so he has big ES, big damage. Now let me show you the minion side of it. Okay, so we'll start with POB zombies, calculator zombies, and I showed you mine's 100% crit, his isn't. I have more crit multi, and then because of the vicious bite, extra one, and then I got 100% impale where he didn't, and the leech. So he saw this and he's like, they leech, it's good. But I want to show this. So if the monster had 70% physical damage reduction in both of our builds, then you go back, he's not leeching. Mine's still leeching perfectly fine against that big. Um, then there's also, like, let's say 100 deli, big monster physical damage reduction. You're like, how are they going to get that monster physical damage reduction? Endurance charges, and the physical damage reduction, or like you do a height of hubris and you do a physical damage reduction thing. So 1396, 236. So mine's over 5 times as much leech as his. So his isn't leeching and is just getting absolutely mollywopped. And I was trying to explain that he needs the leech and he only has the 0.4 through the feasting fiends, and you could see it here. It says it 0.4, and then mine's 2. Pretty good. Pretty good. So the 1% mastery is like massive. It's a lot of leech if they can leech, and then having the extra move speed through the Ravenous Horde helps them move around to get to the boss to actually leech. And then like we have to also take into account that I have the Fortress. Wait, where's? I guess we'll take Fortress instead of this. Actually, wait, how do I not have Fortress Covenant in my build? It didn't go in when I made it. We'll do it instead of this and switch the stupid point, and make sure to fix this. Okay, I don't know why. Okay, this is showing the 70% and the 100 deli. So really, really tanky situation. Real, can happen. And trying to explain leech and why. So then if you do an Uber encounter, it just has 70% less damage taken. So it's like doing one of the high deli on your, yeah, okay. So then the next thing is comparing the stats. So I wanted to also show their health difference. Mine's 49k, his is 45. The regen, his is 2.9%, mine's 5.8% because of all the renewals, and then the vitality and the righteous army. His is just righteous army, 1 renewal, vitality, yep. Then the energy shield, mine's more. It's just the grave intentions having more. Mine also has the block and spell block, also the spell suppression through the quickening covenant and the fortress covenant, which helps for the survivability. And then mine's actually res capped, where his is 23% missing, and it needs Commander of Darkness, which is only a radius of 80. His have 6,000 evasion, mine has 19,000 because of the Grace. Grace is really sick. I also got more armor. I showed you the leech thing, but even on this, it's 13. Sorry, it shows 9,000 and 9,000, but then you do the big. Let's just do 100 deli on both. So 2,000 and 500. So mine's like 4 times, 5 times as much leech. It's really helpful. So minion survivability through the roof on my build, where then you may be able to take out some of my minion survivability and go more damage if you wanted, but this is still rocking a fat 87 million damage while being giga strong. I seem to be missing something. Oh, I took out, no, wait, what the hell? Where did I lose the 1 point for the aura? I don't actually know what happened. How I'm missing 1%. I have figured it out. Because I changed the jewel for the Fortress Covenant, I put it here and I killed the leadership, and that was the aura effect, and then there we go. Because you're supposed to put the Fortress and the Quickening inside of the Cluster Jewel so they don't work. You gotta put the Inspire Learning here if you end up putting it in, and then you'd have to obviously move this stuff. And just make sure not to put the Quickening or the Fortress inside of the tree, because it transforms notables into increased damage, or you'd have to put it over like here where the transform notables don't matter. But this one kills this, so you can't do that. You could do this one and it won't transform the Grave Bind, the Grave Intention, sorry. But yeah, there's the extra 6% aura effect, there's the 89, so it's the same. Then the other thing I wanted to show is the size of the auras. So we compared obviously everything else. This is the Purity of Lightning, and I recommend Purity of Fire anyways instead, because then your minions can be safe to detonate dead. They could have the 90 reses. And then, because they'll take the max res and the extra. Yeah, so then the other thing is, yeah, I would be recommending Purity of Fire, which then I would change that whole thing of how you get the max reses. I also noticed that he had Awakened Generosity, so I want to show this first. His Dread Banner, this was my Dread Banner after, but his Dread Banner 63. Pretty tiny. And then I'll show what I want, because he changed it, and I'm pissed. Dude, what the heck, man? Just copy it, bro. Okay, so then you have the Divergent Generosity, and it increases the AoE, and now it's 80. So you take his 63, and you go, how much is 80? Well, let me tell you something. 17 divided by 63. 27% more. Let me show again what like, so this is the aura radius stuff. Okay. You wonder probably how much damage diff for these two. 88.9, 88. But then the radius, dude, you need this, because then even your precision, which is the accuracy cap of your minions, it's 107. If you're doing the normal generosity, it's not big enough. And if that's your minion cap, like accuracy cap, it's bad. So you want the AoE, and it just costs a little bit of mana, but it's not that bad since you do Awaken Enhance, and you could even do the Anomalous to get back the mana if you really wanted. So yeah, I would recommend Divergent Generosity for the AoE, and then I could show the AoE of the auras. They're really fun, really cool, since you have minions that are going all over the place. So the AoE or of the aura radius difference thing too, minion survivability, the point save, then the pathing difference, and then it even, I think it saves, because I think those clusters were really expensive, and I think like that Supreme Ego Impossible Escape is really expensive, and the fact that you can get 2 Impossible Escapes, Minion Instability or Doomsday, like, and then the fact you could save these 3 points, because like I say, I don't even want the max lightning, and I don't, like, you're probably really tanky, and you could make the gear even crazier if you wanted, like, the rings. Oh, that one he did. This one he didn't do yet. He did a fractured. And then, yeah, I would do Purity of Fire over Purity of Lightning, personally. This will be my last change. Oh, and you could even run, yeah, you could run Valgrace if you wanted. I don't know if you're going to get a 2020. Then this shows Divergent, but you could also do the AoE and give up the 8k armor, but now actually your Divergent determination's actually doing something by using Grace instead of Haste. And then, yeah, Purity of, whoops. Purity of Fire, and then, this would help for the minion thing, and then the only problem is he'd have to change the helmet. Like, he has 2% max lightning, but I honestly use this minion move speed, and I've been valuing minion move speed more, and I really like it. And then he could have the 12% reservation. He doesn't have to go for the weird hybrid to get the 2 max lightning. I totally see what he did there and why he did it. It's really cool. Extra tankiness for himself, but I found I can get 2 tanky, and I don't really need it, where the minion move speed will feel a lot better with the zombies in the build. And then there was one more thing. You could get the one fire through something else, but I don't recommend it. And then you wouldn't need the one max lightning on the tree, and you could save that and spend that in something else. You give up obviously your own survivability, but goddamn, it's sick. Like, look at this. Look at it. You could even do another medium as well, another medium cluster, but back to 93. And I really like this. And then it's actually disgusting because you'd have the minion survivability. They're actually living. They have the accuracy. They're super tanky. Like, I can't even imagine if... Okay, let me show you, actually. Let me just imagine, actually. I can imagine. I can. Give me a second. The worst case scenario is the Commander of Darkness turns off because he's out of range. Because it's only 80 radius, so fire, cold, 60. You're fighting level 85 Cyrus. He hits 556 to Fizz, 556 lightning. Oh, God! Oh, God! So, just with Commander of Darkness in range, 20 seconds, Commander of Darkness out of range, your shit's dead! Your shit's dead! And then you're like, but what about these 3 points? And it's alive, and you don't have to worry about this, and you're laughing straight to the bank. And then, yeah. Then you wonder this with, well, I showed mine already, right? Zombie. Is that really 33? God damn, that's sick. That is gross. That is gross. That's pretty good. And like, look at the numbers. And then that's Purity of Fire. And then this is 85s. I did this. You could, like I said, you could have done the Purity of Lightning and the this with the max lightning and then the extra lightning on the helmet, but I would recommend the minion move speed, and you'll like, you could even do minion life on the helmet if you wanted extra minion survivability too. And then, oh, you wouldn't run mana reservation for haste. It would have to be like determination or pride or something that you're running, probably like the grace, or even discipline can work, since the discipline's not, I actually think the discipline is more since it's not in the glove. Let me show this. So if you had a discipline enchant, yeah, you save 31 mana. It's actually so much. So even the enchant could be improved. But it's because I wasn't running haste at all. With haste, 95. Wait, is it the same? How does it not make a diff? Oh. No, I don't understand. Oh, it's because I took it off. That's why. Let me put it back for a sec. So even with haste on, discipline better by 4 mana. And then you'd never take discipline out, but haste is the one that you could swap for grace back and forth, but you can't really swap it if you're using the enchant. So that's my advice, if you could. It doesn't make that big of a difference, but it's a small min max. And I love this build so much, and I hope this could help people following. Also, like I said, instead of these, you could run another medium with another Dreadmarch Renewal. You could run one feasting, but we have some decent leech. You would have to run some more feastings if you're not running the leech on the tree and all that stuff. And the 1% leech through that vitality is really, really good. I highly recommend all this. Yeah. Huge. Huge. Fun to build review this. Really insane build. He put a lot into it. His version of it, I just want to go through his items now that we spent so much time on the tree. Like, the items are insane, and like he got lucky apparently. Okay, so +1 spell, crit, multi. That's a pretty easy fracture to combine because it's a implicit, I mean, a prefix and a suffix. That's pretty smart actually. If you did this, if you just had one prefix, one suffix, I guess, and you combined it, each one would have a 66% chance of success, I believe. Because it's a 66 for 1 and a 33 for 0. So that's pretty cool. And if he had a duplicate mod on each one, so let's say he had 3 mods total, he could get up to 85% for each one, and then getting them together, because it's, wow, that's really cool. That's pretty cool, dude. Two. So prefix suffix fractures might be easier. Holy shit. So the thing I was doing the whole season of like combining prefix and suffix fractures was actually kind of OP instead of going for two of the same or triple of the same. This is actually easier because of my... Oh my god, that's so sick. Okay. Next thing. Let's go back to his items. They're really cool. So then he did double damage fracture. 65 probably saved money instead of getting the perfect. Minions are aggressive. Is that fractured? Double frac? I don't know. Probably. Says it has the +2 and the attack speed. So that's really cool that he did both of them where he did a prefix suffix, and now actually seeing that he saves money, I believe, which is... Most of my crafts were like that, which at the time people probably thought it was terrible, but it actually turns out to be OP as shit in the crafting way. So then here he has spell suppression and ES, just like mine. So sick, dude. So sick. I love this. It's so sick. Yeah, the extra mods. +1 minion and minion damage and attack speed. Nice build, dude. He got the trigger. Then he has minion attack speed through the veil, or that's the high attack speed. I don't know which one. Can't see it here. It could be from the veil, or it could be... Which means he could get 20% if he divine this. And he's just trolling. 1% attack speed missing. I should divine that. And then... that's really cool. And he crafted int for the extra stuff. And then here we have +3 int. And the mana reservation. And then double mana reservation. And the extra zombie. He liked that. I like that too. Here's Fat ES, spell suppression, T2 with defense implicit. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's tanky, dude. It's so tanky. With the spell suppression, with global defenses on a Val Regalia, he did it. Jesus, with the implicits. And he did, oh, Purity of Lightning Aura Effect. Oh, that's where I'm missing the extra. I could have Purity of Fire in the one that... I was like, why does his have 1%? So technically this could be, because he likes the tankiness, this could have been Purity of Fire since I switched to Fire, and then there's the extra % missing. But honestly, you could do Pride and you get more damage. And then, yeah, 86 reses. Yeah, that's cool. That extra aura effect for that to hit that breakpoint. You don't really need to do that. You could do Pride for more damage, and then Sork Glove, Enlighten. So you get the Enlighten by recombinating into gloves, and then he fractured it, and then you combine the Enlighten with the spell suppression. So this prefix suffix again, so it has really high chance. I fucking love this craft, dude. I love this. This is so sick. And the fact that you should craft the fractures with an essence and craft the duplicate mod, and dude, my crafting was so broken. Okay, wow, my chances of combining, holy shit. That's awesome. He got the +2 AoE through the Ashling Veil, and actually you should divine that 8% to 10% because we found out that AoE affects auras, so you need the extra AoE, and that mod is way better than we thought. And then minion damage, yep. And then he got the spell suppression ES boot, and he got the strength through the essence, got the int roll, then he got the move speed, cannot be chilled through the Ashling or the Veiled Chaos Orb prefix, and then with the suffixes cannot be changed, and he needs to divine this to 30% move speed because 25 is dog shit. He needs a harvest to reroll just the prefix because he has some good strength and int, and he probably needs the strength because the build's so tight on stuff. Let's see, 170, 207, yeah, pretty tight. Like the attributes he's gotten from here. That's a well-rolled Mage Blood. And then cannot be frozen through the Rin Veil, June Unveil, and he crafted it for 1x. Ashes of the Stars, perfectly rolled, besides the increased XP gain. Champion of the Cause Anoint is fine. Gets the extra AoE on the auras is pretty sick, and since we now did the Intuitive Leap, yep. And then Unset Ring, he did a fractured minion damage, +3, and then got int ES, used int essence probably, and just crafted an endurance charge, and that's a pretty easy clap discipline ring if I've ever seen one, dude. So you put discipline for the extra levels, because if you lost 3 levels, he'd lose 300 ES. You could put it in the glove, but he wanted to put those ones in the glove for the reservation. You could put it instead of the purity, and it because the purity doesn't need it because it has the levels from the wand to get it. Like you could downgrade this by 2 and it'll still have the 5, so it doesn't need to be in the glove, and you could put the other one, and then you don't need a +3 ring, because you could just do the +2 glove, and you miss one level, and it's not that big of a deal, and you save the extra money. You could go for a second one of these fat rings, and then he has, yeah, a Crusader ring, where he got minion damage int suffixes, and re-rolled the prefixes with, defense mod, so you do suffixes cannot be changed, and then he went to harvest, and he reforged more likely with defense, and hit, Jesus, he hit T2ES with, like, T2ES, yeah. Pretty disgusting, pretty good. And then I put that small in, and I changed his larges, and I changed his mediums, and he could run one more medium, and I changed the jewels, like crazy, and then now the minions live, now the minions are gods, now the build is super insane, and that's all the explanation of why everything was improved all in one video. So this was pretty cool that he started playing our build, wanted to check out the golem zombies and play our build, and I wanted to put, well, I was backseating his stream, and I was like, you know what, I'll just do a review and put it out there for everyone, since I think this is really helpful, since clearly this stuff is very complicated and very confusing, and I figure this could help people. So thank you guys for watching, thanks for hanging out, thank you Path of Exile Boda for checking out my build, and I hope this helps you and it reaches you, and you can play my upgraded new versions, all the improvements. I hope you can try out all that, and then well, nice enhance, and I like what you're doing, and keep it up, dude. Yo, fucking kill it with those minions. Oh, I can't wait to see the unkillable minions, and then you probably take out some defense because it's so goddamn tanky. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, thanks for hanging out. If this helped you, hey, hit the like button. Let's get 40 likes in a day on this video, and I'll reply to the comments. Thank you guys so much for the support. If you guys liked the video, like this a lot, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye!